Here are the sheep getting their daily fill of the Manzana de Agua. So the tree is here. It's actually almost finished. There's a few ripe fruits still up there. But when the birds come, the fruit falls on the ground. And so the first stop in the morning for the sheep is to come look for their apples. Here, wait, move. Here's a good one, Bobo. Let's see if she gets that one. Oh, yeah. She's pretty happy with that one. The rest of them are moving on. They'll go into the pasture in a few minutes. So we're still in the dry season. We've got about 2 months left, approximately, of the dry season. And I am going to spend today planning my next steps for the garden. So, one thing we're doing here, we still have ñame in the ground. I may dig some of it up, and some of it's already been dug up and replanted, and that's what these markers are for. So this year, I'm going to mark all the ñame as it comes up, so that if it dies back before I get to it, we are going to know where to dig. So there's a ton in here, and it should be quite large next year because we didn't dig it up this year. So we'll see. And then here, I plan on just keeping this going. So this is actually being irrigated right now, all of my pineapples. Well, not all of them. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are being irrigated. Actually, there's 6 being irrigated. This one I had to replant. It died. Not sure why, so we'll see if the new one will live, being planted during the dry season. And then I have another one I thought over here, although I don't see it. And then I put 2 more over here, but they're not being irrigated, so I assume they're going to die. Here's one. Yeah, it's drying up. So I'm not going to worry about those at this point. I'm not going to waste the time. This is kind of my time of year to relax a little. So I've had a few lazy days where I've done nothing but care for the animals. And in the middle of the day, it's 95 degrees. I hang out inside. I read. And that's about it. You can see here are the sheep. It's very dry in the pastures, but they're still eating pasture. I've put down some hay, and they have no interest in it. And I have also cut down some of the grass. I'll show you that in a few minutes, where I planted grass just for them during the dry season. And they really aren't that interested in that yet either. So we won't worry about that. This is my guava tree doing extremely well. Well, I shouldn't say extremely well. It is the dry season, but it's doing well. It's getting irrigated a couple of days a week. This was supposed to also be a guava plant, but it is definitely not guava. It's similar. When I put it in my little plant app, it comes up as rambutan, which is like a lychee. It's a little different than a lychee, but it's similar. And so I'm going to just let it grow, and whatever it turns into, it turns into. These trees all around here are plantain and guanabana, or soursop. So I pulled a guanabana off of this tree and gave it to my neighbor. She was looking for some. And I have quite a few over here. Some of them I've tried to protect. Here's a young one, and there's another one. I tried to protect these from the parrots. And here's one, and there's one up there that looks like somebody's already eaten some of it. I also had, my plantain tree was attacked by, I believe, the parrots. I'm taking you over there. So this was a whole bunch of plantains, and they literally ate it down to nothing. And the trees usually die after the fruit is harvested anyway. So, and then I have another bunch of plantains over here. So this area I'm not going to do much with. I'm trying to get it healthy again. So we'll start with putting manure down. And we'll mark the nyame so we can take advantage of that a little better. This is my other plantain tree that isn't tied up as it should be, but we're trying to protect those plantains. And they should, it's really dry, so they're not growing as fast as they could. I've got some coconuts sprouting. I'll move that at some point. I usually just sell the coconut sprouts, but it's not a good time of year to sell it because nobody wants to plant it. And in here is all cassava. And for the most part, I've left it alone. It's been in here for 1.5 years. It should be ready, but it's honestly not. It's still really small. I've dug up a few, and it's enough for my small household, but not good for, it's not ideal. So we're gonna leave that and let that continue to grow. These are more plantains. I have a ton of coconuts. So this whole area, and here's some more sprouted coconuts. So this whole area at this point, I'm probably gonna leave as is. Now in this area here, I did plant beans, and maybe we'll do that again, but you normally plant, most of the beans get planted, except for the guandu, which is pigeon pea. Most of the other beans get planted at the end of the rainy season, so that it's pretty dry when you harvest them and they don't get worms. I learned that the hard way. This, I think, is a dragon fruit, but I can't be sure. And it's not doing that well. But I think that is dragon fruit. And here are the 6 new trees I planted, coconut trees. This is another guanabana that is not fruiting, so we ought to give that some. And here in my weeds, I have another coconut sprouting. Now this is the garden. So this area, I'm just gonna try and baby it a little more than I have in the past, and leave it alone, and just continue to grow what's growing there now. This is going to be my covered garden. As you can see, I'm trying to kill the grass, but it's been super windy and I don't have those secured well. We're just starting to put up the crossbars, and I was going to put posts in the center under each arch, but I think instead I'm going to put them in the center of the crossbars. And this will be a vegetable garden, if all goes well. I have been known to plant and then neglect. I do it all the time. So we'll see how it goes. My herb garden is doing well. These pepper plants died, but that is absolutely fine. I think it was actually too sunny for them, and that's okay. My oregano is good. I'm going to dig some of that up this year. I'm going to spread out the lemongrass. I've got plenty of cilantro growing, culantro growing. And here along the edge, you can't see it anymore because it's died back, but there's a lot of ginger. And there is also some turmeric in here. And all this dead stuff here is turmeric. The turmeric itself is not dead, but all the leaves die off. And then when the rain starts, it'll come back up. It takes about almost a month into the rainy season before you see that, yes, it is coming back. These are just lilies over here. Over here in these 2 beds, If you've been following along for a while, you remember I did plant some taro and it didn't come up. We think the dogs dug most of it up and ate it. But I had one taro come up. It has died back. I have more over in the other food forest area. I'm hoping that all comes back with the rainy season, but I honestly have no idea if that will come back or not. So that's it for the areas around the house. Let me show you what I'm planning to do in some of the other areas. Before we leave the areas around the house, I just want to show you a few other things. These have some really pretty flowers that bloom in the morning normally. They died back with the dry season. And last year I dug them up thinking I was going to replace them. During the dry season, I dug them up, I threw manure down, and they came back beautifully. So this year I did that on purpose. I basically dug them up or pulled them up, most of them, and then threw manure down. I left these because they're so beautiful. They're outside of the circle. I don't know where they came from. Well, I do know where they came from. They used to grow along the edge of the property, but somehow some landed here and they grew this year and they look great, so I'm leaving them. I'm gonna do the same with this circle. These are the same flowers, although there's a lot of grass and whatnot in here, but these are the morning, these flower in the morning during the rainy season. I'm gonna dig all this up and throw manure down there, and it should be good to go for next year. Let me show you while I'm here a couple other things I do have growing, just to hold me accountable to make sure they're still growing next year. This is my vanilla orchid. Has not bloomed. I don't know when it will, but it was only about 3 inches tall last year when I put it next to this tree. So it's doing really well. This is an avocado tree we grew from seed. So we'll see what kind of avocado we get. Okay, this was an orange tree that we cut down. It was dying. It wasn't fully dead, but it was pretty darn close. And it looks like right next to it, it's growing another. This doesn't look like the healthiest of trees, but it does look like a citrus tree. So I'm wondering if it's that same orange tree. It's next to it, but it's a possibility. So we're gonna leave it and see what happens. Over here, you can't tell, but I did have a whole bunch of turmeric, and that will come back. So we're gonna leave this area clear. And now I think that's it for back here. Okay, now we're gonna see if I can sneak into the other area without the sheep. It's fenced off, but it's not a strong fence. So we'll see if they let me go by. But here they are. No, Pink. Stay there. So this is the area I used to call the orchard. This is a lemon or lime tree, I don't remember, and I think this is the same. They have not fruited much in the past, just a little bit. Oh, I just stepped on a thorn. So I need to really start fertilizing those. Sorry, I have a thorn in my shoe, it feels like. Oh yeah. I don't know if you could see that, but that hurt. So again, this is the orchard. We planted a bunch of small trees, and the sheep do come in here, and they ate them all. So I haven't figured out the best way to fence off seedlings. So we are not going to plant more in here. This basically is primarily a citrus orchard. And the sheep will come in here soon. These are not the grasses they love. Plus, they've been eating the trees. So let me show you. Here are the trees they have killed. I mean, they didn't just kill my seedlings. They killed some big trees. This tree right in front of us, they ate all the bark. So I'll probably take down this tree, and they'll probably continue to eat these leaves, which is fine. These are citrus trees. This, I believe, is a noni tree. And then this is the other tree. They ate all the bark, basically killed the tree. This tree still has some leaves on it. Maybe there's enough bark for it to come back, but I don't think so. And and this one they ate most of the bark off of. So these big trees will come down. If I can figure out how to plant seedlings and fence them in to keep the sheep away, we will do that in here. But for now, it'll be another pasture. But this is going to be my second food forest area, and this is going to be more of a real food forest. So this is the area, we fenced it off. Well, it was already fenced, but we put the gate in so that we could access it more easily. But this area, that is a mango tree. It does not produce good mangoes. And the rest are citrus trees. We took down some of the citrus trees last year, partly because we were growing, this was my cornfield, and I have decided that I'm not going to grow corn. So it's really hard to grow corn here without chemicals. The worms just devastate them. I haven't figured out how to do it. I'm sure it can be done, but I haven't figured it out. And I don't need to eat corn. I mean, I like corn, but I really like the sweet corn you get in the U.S., and it is not the same corn. The corn here is tougher, and it's not as sweet. So, as you can see, there's mostly weeds growing here. Down below, there's some grasses growing. So, instead of trying to turn this into pasture, I'm going to turn this into a food forest. So, I'm going to leave that mango tree, and I am going to plant another mango tree, as well as hopefully some Robusta coffee. I'm not high enough. I'm at basically sea level, so I can't plant Arabica coffee, but I'm going to plant some Robusta. I'm going to plant some cacao for chocolate, and I haven't decided what else, so if anyone has any good ideas, let me know. I'm going to leave the citrus. I'm not sure what that is. I'm going to plant some papaya, and then along this fence here, as well as some of the fence in my other side of the property where the sheep can't get to, I am going to plant some passion fruit vines. That's the plan. So passion fruit, coffee, cacao, mango, papaya. And that should be good. Now, if you look in this is a small area. Well, it's long, but it's very narrow. And we planted these grasses so I can cut them down for the sheep to eat. I cut some down the other day, and they just weren't interested. Their pastures are still good enough. I give the pastures another week, and they're not going to have much. But they're still growing, and we haven't had rain in a few weeks. But the pastures, first of all, even if they're not green, they're still grasses for them. And two, they're still pretty darn green if you look around. There's a lot that's not, but there's a lot of green still in there, and they still seem to be growing. The sheep were in here a few weeks ago, and you can see it's not coming back very quickly, but they will go back in here possibly tomorrow. And then here you can see this little area is where I have grasses growing for them. And next to that is the back of the chicken area where all my banana trees are. So let me know what you think. let me know what you think I might be missing, and or what else I should plant. So just to review, I already have coconut, banana, some plantain. I have some Nancy fruit, which is golden spoon. I have some, I want to plant more pineapple, but that I'll just do as I eat pineapple. And I have tons of citrus. I also have a few root vegetables in the cassava or yucca and the nyame. So next is cacao for chocolate, coffee, papaya. What else did I say? Cacao, passion fruit, mango. I think that's it. And that should be good for us. And then the vegetables, of course, but those are mostly annuals. So everything else I'm planting are not annuals. They should be perennials and last a while. Let me know if I left anything out or if you have any questions. And please, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It wasn't one of our more exciting videos, but it gives you some idea of what we'll be doing in the next few months. I will be starting seedlings soon. So yeah, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to follow along on the homestead, please hit subscribe and click the bell so that you're notified when our next video comes out. And if you know of anyone else that wants to learn more about homesteading in Panama, please share this video with them. We'll see you next week. Bye.